How can I come from a Kansas estate, growing up eating beans on toast and hold 3 Michelin stars for 25 years? Right, time out, stop.
People think that they know Gordon.
Sadly, it's overcooked a touch. We've gone for the aesthetics over the quality.
But you know what? He's just Gordon to me.
From watching the documentary, I think one of the kind of themes that I pulled out of it was about like perfectionism and your strive for perfection in a lot of the things you do. And I just wanted to ask you about that. Is that something that you would agree with? And also, how does that like impact your life? Do you ever feel like it's a bit of a challenge because you're always striving for perfect?
Yeah, oh God, that's a tough question. It was a bloody good question. Some people are built like that. Some people can't handle that. When I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off. If I was like that at home, then I'd be dead. Yeah. And so I can step into that moment, go full on, and then I can step out, get that jacket off, and that pressure comes off when the jacket comes off. And so there are parts of that industry, sadly, that are pretty shitty. And I remember my first kitchen just outside Stratford-upon-Avon, this little country house hotel, and the head chef was an absolute arse, but he was teaching me how to make roast potatoes. And he was putting them in the deep fat fryer, draining them, and then sprinkling them with Bisto granules. And I went home and told my mum, and mum was upset. She said, he what? You know how to make a roast potato, Gordon? I said, yeah. I said, but this profession's got an incredible reputation, and so that's the end of the stick. And then I wanted to perfect that, and so I started that incredible journey. I was still hurt, I think, from the football upset, being released, injured, through no fault of my own, 50-50 tackle, smashed my cartilage, tore my cruciate ligament, and then if there's anything that Mum taught us early on was stop wasting time, dust yourself down, and get your act together. So I knew then if I was going to cook, then I want to get to the very top. But then it's such a lovely addiction when you are at the top. You want to stay there, and that needs working on. Part of Bishopsgate was putting myself under pressure to stay at the very top, because I think it's healthy. Yeah. I think it clears the bull. I think it clears your mind, and you have a target. And I think we all need a target. And just outside of that, I have 2 targets every year, 6 months a year, and that's either a marathon, an Ironman, or a long-distance swim. And that is a healthy balance.
You mentioned there obviously about you switch it off with your family now, but you spoke a lot in the documentary about your parents as well. Yeah. And you talked about growing up on a cancer estate and your dad being an alcoholic and things like that. I wanted to kind of ask about young people getting into cooking and into the food industry. It's been known as quite like an elitist, industry. People have said that. Do you feel like that is the case? And what do you want to do to help the next generation of future chefs?
There's definitely no elitism in food. How can I come from a Kansas estate, growing up eating beans on toast and hold 3 Michelin stars for 25 years? So all that bullshit about having to be born with an educated palate and rich parents that eat in fine dining restaurants is absolute utter crap. There's a lovely new fresh wave of influencers and young chefs coming through today that are experimenting. And I think COVID really helped produce that moment, because it was like, right, time out, stop. And so everyone got more creative, and everyone got into food more then than ever before. And so food's like medicine. There needs to be a sort of 6 to 7, 8 year apprenticeship. And that apprenticeship can be really exciting, by the way. Mastering your craft, going to where turns you on with the chefs, all the shiny bits. Then you gather that in your coffers, and then you start creating this incredible platform of your own inspiration based on what you know. And then there's the quirkiness I always add in. And when I don't see enough of those individual chefs on a plate, I'll say, right, take that off and put you more on that plate. Yeah. So, no, I think we're in a healthy situation, and that elitist thing, is absolute bollocks, because you can teach yourself. You don't need to go to culinary school today for 3 years, get yourself in debt, sleep in digs. There is so much to learn online. There's so much noise on social media platforms. You can learn from some of the best restaurants in Barcelona purely on your phone. The info now on YouTube is just incredible. And so, no, absolutely not. And I'll stand out as an absolute advocate to make sure that pompousness doesn't come anywhere near this industry.
Amazing. And then kind of on the same theme, you spoke about in the documentary how influencers are almost taken over in terms of food critics. They're almost crucial to the success of a restaurant.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask about the role of influencers and how you've kind of used that to help with your new restaurants.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of criticism in terms of what we've done and how we've done it with food critics. And then I've had multiple phone calls after they've dined to sort of reiterate what did they eat, because they got so plastered they didn't even remember half the dishes. And then you get to a stage in life where I enjoy criticism, constructive, but then you're criticised by individuals that know less about food than you do. And that's a sore one to take. That is a sore one. So you keep your mouth shut and you just don't embrace them. I don't go to their parties. I don't start writing bits for their books. I don't get involved with that ass-kissing bullshit. So I sort of pushed against that. And then when the wave of the influencers and these incredible foodies started blowing up on social media, 99% of the chefs 10 years ago wouldn't welcome them. But they're strong. They are smart. They have done their homework. And so whilst you may be tied up in a kitchen and super insecure about, oh God, who are these people? Embrace it. Move with it or it'll move you. And so there are some super exciting influencers today that I absolutely adore. And then you see the kind of access they get, and then they fill restaurants. And so I embraced that years ago. And all that snobbery about chefs and why they're taking photographs. First of all, they're paying for it. Secondly, have you been to a concert recently? No one's singing. They've all got the phones in the air. Been to a football match behind the goal, everyone's got the phones in the air. You go to a meet and greet or a book site, everyone's got their phones in the air. You go to a motivational speech, everyone's got their phones in the air. Embrace it. So I think they've done more for the industry to highlight it globally than chefs could ever imagine of. And I think they're more pissed off the fact that they're not part of that. That makes them feel like the train's left the station and they're sat there with their face in their Cheerios, huffing and puffing. Why is it not me?
Yeah. And finally,
I'm so sorry on that note.
Okay.
When those influencers have treble the followers
Yeah.
of those chefs, come on.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Do you have any regrets about your career?
I have multiple regrets.
Can
and if
you
you
tell
thought
me
I was going to sit here and explain them to you, you are mad.
Fair enough.
I'll take that into my grave. I've made mistakes. I've made that incredibly clear. I've also, gone back and changed my mind. But I don't think there's anyone in the world with no regrets. There's nothing that sanitized. And however, I've made mistakes, but not the same mistake twice. I think that's the important part. I have one regret.
Okay, can you tell me?
Not loving vegans earlier.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah.
It was a flippant joke years ago.
Yeah.
And then all our 3 daughters turned vegan until I started eating vegan food with them, and they changed my mind.
And now do you like?
I joked, of course I did. In order to master my craft, I knew that was a part of my career that was missing. And so I went to an ashram in Kerala and went and lived with Buddhas and these incredible monks and learned vegetarian cuisine like no other. Yeah. And I knew that little side of that arrogance, GR, just didn't suit. And so I got schooled because I knew it was an area in my DNA that I was missing. And secondly, when you're in that fine dining sort of harem, it's just caramelised car sweetbreads, and then next thing is beautiful hand-roasted scallops, then it's a sea bass. And so we didn't get that. And I knew I was lacking that. And so I submerged myself in this ashram, and the food was incredible, and I did not want to leave.
Well, I've been vegetarian for 7 years, so I'm glad that...
there you go.
Yeah, thank you very much.